Welcome back to the Healthcare Uncomplicated YouTube channel. Today I have another magnificent guest for you. Before I go ahead, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get this amazing content every week, and check our partners, our channel partners, and all the previous guests, all to do with healthcare technology. Amazing content for you. And today it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Ken Nelson. He's a digital health and medtech expert, an investor, a chairman, and board member. Ken, how are you?
How great to be here, and really have enjoyed your content on social media and learned a lot from you over the years. So happy to be here.
Glad to connect with you, and nice to see you again. Today we are here to discuss a great topic: the evolution of medical devices in digital health, diagnostics, and monitoring. And the first question for you, Ken, is how do you see the future of medical devices evolving in the context of digital health and remote patient monitoring?
Yeah, so I think one of the things you're starting to see is pure historical med tech or med device companies and even drug companies evolving into also being digital health, diagnostics, and remote patient monitoring players. I think the ones that evolve faster are going to win in the end, and the ones that are slow to evolve really risk becoming Kodak when Kodak didn't evolve to digital cameras. So I think there's a lot happening. I think you're starting to see wearables that may have done monitored one thing, like for me, my expertise has been in cardiac monitoring. You kind of see that evolving in the next stage, being more comprehensive vital signs monitors, and I think that's going to be another stage of explosive growth. You see companies like Medtronic starting to spin off their remote patient monitoring divisions, and you've got people like, at least rumored, that the Carlyle Group interested in acquiring that, and that could create some really exciting M&A activity in the space. So it's a fun time to be in digital health and medtech.
For sure. Yeah, thank you so much for that overview. It's certainly a lot going on. It's an exciting space. Sometimes quite difficult to follow everything, but I know that you are heavily involved. We're actually talking about some fantastic companies before the recording. Moving on, what transformative role have medical devices played in shaping the digital health industry?
Yeah, so and let's take cardiac for a second, which is where my expertise is primarily. Cardiac was an early adopter of digital health. So you see the implantable devices, pacemakers, and defibrillators that evolved to home monitoring. Home monitoring evolved to remote patient monitoring with Bluetooth and other advancements in technology. So anywhere, anytime monitoring. And now you're starting to see the implantable devices that's evolved to external wearable devices, patches, and other wearables, and that data is now being monitored anytime, anywhere. And so that data is going to the cloud. That has created additional challenges for practices, because now the physicians have all of this data coming from implantables and wearables coming into their clinic, and honestly, a lot of them are overwhelmed now. So I think one of the challenges we face is, what do we do, or what do they do with all of this data coming in? So we've got to do a better job as an industry, only sending the actionable data to the appropriate caregiver on the patient or consumer's care team, and not sending all of that data to the implanting physician. If we're talking about an implantable device, it's not fair to put that burden all on the physician who put it in. The data should really be going to the appropriate caregiver on that patient's care team.
Yeah, fantastic point there, because I'm also a very strong advocate of wearables. They also bring another layer of complexity and additional challenges. from
Right.
interoperability to overload data. And we know that clinicians don't
Yeah.
have the time to deal with that, and also sometimes the expertise is the wrong thing at the wrong time, even though data is very precious because we know that we need the patient information, but the devices also can provide a lot of data that is not relevant at that particular time and moment. Well,
Right.
moving on to the last question: what are key developments in medical devices that are transforming the digital health diagnostics industry?
Yeah, I think adding in the element of digital health to these devices is helping. So making them Bluetooth enabled and able to talk to your smartphone or the watch that you're wearing. That evolution is happening. It's in some cases happening quickly, in other cases not happening fast enough. So I think that's really great to see. I think the watch and the smartphone are quickly becoming medical devices themselves, and that's really interesting to see. And on top of that, what is really going to accelerate things and is accelerating things is true artificial intelligence. There's a lot of noise in that space, but there's also a lot of actual real AI, which will eventually lead to predictive analytics, which will eventually lead to preventative medicine. But that's starting to happen now. And you start to see AI for, if you're talking about cardiac, this overlay of AI for arrhythmia detection going into implantable devices or wearable devices to make them more accurate, also to alert the patient or the physician sooner. But honestly, how this some of the stuff is just not happening
Mm.
fast enough. I can tell you from a personal standpoint, on Sunday night, had a very good friend and colleague, a guy who helped us build Barty Diagnostics. He was the Northeast Regional Sales Director, a guy named Jay Medinilla, 49 years old with two teenage kids, and he died in his sleep. This is a guy helping to drive innovation, and I'm guessing it was cardiac related. We'll know for sure here in the next day or so. But these are preventable deaths. You hate to hear about
Mm.
these things, and this technology that's emerging can help prevent these deaths by finding and diagnosing patients sooner. So you hear things like that, and you feel like some of these evolutions are just not happening fast enough. The reimbursement to cover some of these innovations isn't happening fast enough. So as much as there's some great things happening, there's other things we need to get accelerated to bring some of these really cool innovations to market.
Absolutely, Ken. Thank you for sharing that, and sorry to hear the news about your friend. And we hear sometimes in professional sport, like young, fit professional sportsmen and women, they sometimes have cardiac arrests because they're not monitored, they don't have any tests, and also the innovation is available, but is not adopted, is not mass market yet. So we have a long way to go. I also
Yeah.
love what you mentioned about the combination of artificial intelligence and the data. I actually today was reviewing a book chapter that I wrote in 2019 for an healthcare book, and my vision is that the artificial intelligence back then, 4 years ago, artificial intelligence in wearables would eventually be the game changer. But I do agree with you, we're moving a bit slow for our like special those in the industry like me and you, that we are active and we'd like to see things moving a bit faster. I'm sure you agree with me, right?
Yeah, completely agree. And one thing I do want to mention before we finish the discussion, for companies out there that are really trying to figure out how do they take their startup to the next level, how do they better prepare themselves to scale, how do they better prepare themselves for venture capital discussions. I highly recommend that you look at startup accelerators. I'm very involved with MedTech Innovator, which is the largest MedTech digital health startup accelerator globally, according to PitchBook. We also have a fund now, the MedTech Advantage Fund, that invests exclusively in MedTech innovator companies. It's difficult to get into. 2,000 roughly startups try to get in every year. We pick a couple hundred to pitch, and then we pick about 100 to go through the MedTech Innovator Program or the Asia Pacific Program or the BioTools Innovator Program. But if you can get in, and I went through it in 2019 as CCO of Barty Diagnostics, it is incredibly helpful and can really help accelerate things for your startup.
Brilliant. Thank you for mentioning that, Ken, to the audience. And one final thing before we round up, I always ask this final question related to the channel is, in your opinion, how can we make healthcare uncomplicated?
I think eliminating additional pieces of hardware. I think asking a patient to carry a second phone is a lot. If we can evolve our innovations to where they're just using the smartphone in their pocket or the smartphone that they're wearing on their wrist, that really simplifies things. The less patient interaction, the better. That's why I like implantables. So you think about a comprehensive implantable vital signs monitor where there is no patient compliance because you don't have to worry about the patient doing anything. It's implanted. I think thinking about the least amount of things we're asking the patient or consumer to do, the better, and that really simplifies things. So that's one perspective on it.
Brilliant. Ken, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, your amazing expertise, and accepting my invite. Is amazing to connect with you, and this is really valuable for those involved in the industry. Ken, I'm
Yeah,
gonna round up now. Nice to see you.
yeah, thanks so much, Al. Appreciate it.
Thank you. To all our viewers and listeners, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, I'm gonna post Ken's links in here, his social media, Twitter and LinkedIn. Connect with him. He's a true expert in the medtech, as you can see. And I'll see you all next time.
Great, thanks, Al.